right. In this particular matter, we're here before the court for a violation of probation arraignment. Ma'am, it is alleged that you tested positive through an ETG test on November 16th and admitted to consuming alcohol on that particular occasion in violation of the no alcohol condition of your probation. You're entitled to have a hearing in this matter, at which time, if it is shown that you did in fact violate the terms of your probation, or if you admit to violating the terms of your probation, then you could be subjected to, in this particular case, it's a technical violation, you could be subjected to 5 days, up to 5 days in the Washtenaw County Jail. The recommendation, is my understanding at this time, is 5 additional days of community service with a 12-step related organization is what is going to be recommended in a reassessment. Given the nature of the allegation in the first offense, I'm inclined to follow that. What would your client like to do at this time?
A client would like to admit responsibility, admit the responsibility with explanation.
Thank you. All right. Please stand, ma'am, and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that that the testimony about providing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. You may lower your hand. You all both may be seated. Ma'am, is it true that you tested positive on an ETG test on November 16, 2023, and you admitted to drinking alcohol?
That is true.
Thank you. I find that there's a knowing and willing admission of guilt to the violation. Are you satisfied, Ms. McDuffie?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. White?
Satisfied.
Thank you. All right. As to the recommendation, is there anything you want to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. I've spoken at length with Ms. Ewing, and I guess to her credit, she did call her probation officer right away and told her everything that's going on. And she and I had a long conversation last night about her choices. And she does want to address the court about what she did. So if Your Honor would allow her, she does want to do that. She made a mistake, and well, she takes accountability for what she did. So I don't want to call it a mistake.
Right, because there have been multiple.
She did explain that to me too. So I don't want to call it a mistake because she was very upfront with me. The choice she made was wrong. And I'll let her explain why she did it. But it had to do with her daughter's birthday and why she made that choice. She wants to explain to the court herself. I do want to tell the court though that she's here. And unfortunately, she just lost the possibility of a job interview, which is another reason why she's crying, because they won't reschedule. So this is really impacting her, and her choice is impacting her because she asked me, she's very upset that she went against your wishes and that she defied you. And she knows that what she did, that's how it appears to this court, and that is what she did. But I'm going to let her speak now.
All right. Well, actually, we're going to hear from the prosecutor
yes.
first, and then she'll
sorry.
Ms. McDuffie?
Your Honor, this case concerns me on a lot of different levels. One, I'll just point out it was originally an OWI second offense, and I really had a lot of reservations, but the offer that I extended was to waive the second offense notice and allow her to plead to a first offense. And one of the reasons was Ms. Elam's, I don't even know if denial is the right word to use, but if the court might recall that some of the comments that she made, I think in her interview, were that, you know, the officer completely falsified everything that happened, made it up. And Ms. Elam just really seemed to be looking for somebody else to blame. She came after me, and I don't have a problem with that. You know, she felt like I was laughing at her, which I wasn't, but I don't mind apologizing to anything I may have made her feel. But the bigger issue was that she was just trying to find somebody else. She can say at the very same time, I take full responsibility, while pointing all the other fingers in the other direction. And after that, to see the nature, she just hasn't really been in touch with what her drinking behavior actually is and what her actual role is. And she has test results that I know she can't deny. I understand she's going through a lot in her life, so I'm not trying to make it sound like any of this is easy. But I wish, you know, that she had been in a I don't know if recovery court would have helped or not. But Ms. Elam seems to need a lot of support, a lot of oversight. And I was going to make a request, if the court wasn't already going to do this, she needs to obviously seek treatment anyway. ETGs, I think at this point are probably not going to cut it. And I don't know if a SoberLink or Scram is something that would be easier to handle. But the admission or the reference in that report, we've seen that before with other cases where people time it. They know that they have to go test, and then they feel like they're free to drink afterwards for the next day or two and clear it out before they have to go test again. And that's something that's happened very blatantly here on I think the third or so violation. So I do want to ask if we can step up our testing to a more frequent method, but I don't know what it will take to get at this sort of block that Ms. Elam seems to have. A lot of people are able to say, I admit my wrongs, I know I'm at fault, I take full responsibility, but absolutely not do that. And I don't know how to address that.
Thank you. I think that, let's see, she's testing now. Is it 3 times a month?
That is 3 times.
This would be your opportunity to say what you need to say, Ms. Elam.
If I may, please.
You may.
To Ms. McDuffie, I respect that she's saying that that is not the case, okay? What I spoke was true. I do not know how to clear myself or to know when they're gonna test. Okay, this last test that I did positive, yes, I was wrong. To be a mother of 30 years, okay, it was more personal for myself and my daughter, all right? Because my daughter's not supposed to be here in the physical. Months ago, she almost lost her life at the hands of her assailant, okay? He strangled her, all right? And my daughter told me I had to think about, did I wanna be here or not? I didn't even know you can make that type of decision under such pressure, okay? So my daughter turned 30 on the 15th of November. Like I told her, it was more of a personal because I have her here. I'm here. She lost her father this time last year. She was a daddy's girl, okay? So she asked me would I make her favorite meal. Her father would make her meal for her, which is corned beef, cabbage, and potatoes, okay? So I did that. Me, her sister, and her brothers, we all played video games at my home, all right? She stayed the night, okay? It was a personal moment. And I also took part because of coming out of retirement, technically, to go and get a job, all right? To have such high accolades, only being on my job a month, to step into a leadership role, as you can see, I don't know if you read, from my boss, okay? My daughter also wrote a letter. I am the backbone of my family. Yes, I do still always will take responsibility. This life that I'm living now, it's not for the faint of heart, okay? No, I don't choose to drink. Like I told Ms. Stroud, me and her have had several conversations. She's my go-to now because I didn't think that she was approachable. But seeing how she is, when I did test every time, I picked up the phone and I called her. She didn't have to reach out to me. Like I told her, I'm an open book. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I did, and I explained just that to her. Okay, so no, I don't take this as a joke. I did not know that I was gonna have to test the next day. This was a personal, emotional moment for my daughter and I. Again, because to have her in the physical, opposed to celebrating her life, and like people do, you lose your child, okay? She's my firstborn. Yes, she's a National Collegiate Honor student, okay? So yes, it was very personal. I ask humbly for forgiveness. Yes, I understand. I'm not oblivious. I understand what the court asked of me. But I'm being honest and open and telling you, I took this personal for my daughter and myself, to embrace her, to hold her because she lost her father. My daughter didn't want to live either, okay? So yes, it's a win-win for my daughter, for myself, on so many levels outside of this court stuff. With all due respect, my children are my world. Had I lost my daughter, it probably would be way worse than this. I would be in jail. And that's being honest. So yes, I did embrace my daughter heavily, with open arms and love, okay? I did. I'm proud of her, very proud.
Anything else, ma'am?
No, thank you.
So I am not sure how discouraging what you had to say is. Because the fact that you think that embracing your daughter means that you have to drink is extremely problematic. This means that you cannot understand the level of problem that you have. You can embrace your daughter. I fully feel everything you said about your daughter still being alive, about your having lost her father. I get all of that. That happens in, unfortunately, more lives around the country than we want to acknowledge. But people don't drink because of that or defy a court order because of that. That is the personal choice that you made, because in reality, you have a drinking problem and you haven't figured that out yet. That's the problem we have right now, is that you have a drinking problem and you have figured out every way on earth to justify it to the depths of trying to say it's because of your love for your daughter. And the fact that you didn't think you were going to have to test the next day does not help your case at all. You can't even hear yourself. And that's the sad part of where we are. And until you recognize inside or outside of this court that you have a problem, this is going to get worse. You're before this court because you were drinking and driving. And at that time, when I took this plea, you told me that you had a shot of vodka to come up with a 0.14. Your denial is so deep that I am extremely worried about you. This order of this court that testing in this particular case is increased. She can either do 6 times per month. I'm sorry, not 6, because we're at 3. I'm not gonna double it just yet. She can either do 5 times per month, or she can do the silver link, whichever she chooses. You must get reassessed through the Don Farm program for possible higher level of care. You to do 5 additional days of community service, and you to continue on your probation. I hope that the next time that I see you, and I'm going to do a review in 60 days, that you have more insight into this problem, and that you don't see this as something just the court is trying to impose upon you, but rather that there's a serious issue going on here. I am very happy that you and Ms. Straub have the relationship that you have, and that you do tell her when you test positive. But I'm certain that if you didn't have to test that next day, you wouldn't have called her up to say, hey, I drank last night. You called her up because you tested positive. That is why we are here. So I am hopeful. And I wonder how and when you have been testing and drinking and getting away with that. I don't believe that it's not. I don't believe it's just these 3 times.
I can be honest and tell you, yes, ma'am. Yes, yes.
So I'm going to see you back here on February 1st, 2024 to see how we make it through the holidays. And I hope that when you have this assessment done, that you explain to them, because they sent us a report, that the number of times that you've drank since the court ordered you to not drink, so they can get a clear picture of what's going on here. For whatever reason you say that you did that. Everything we do in life is personal. Every single thing. And people can say it's business, don't take it personal, but the reality is those are personal too. It might be for money, but it's still personal. Your love for your daughter is not in question. Your ability to see what you're doing to yourself is. So I hope that you take a harder look at that and really start to embrace that you need some help. Okay? All right. I'll see you back here on February 1st.
Thank you.